All right, so let's talk about the NFC. Currently in the NFC, there are two unbeaten teams. They are the San Francisco 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles. So I feel like the San Francisco 49ers are currently the class of the NFC. They have won pretty much all their games very, very convincingly. The last game that they played was, against a team that a lot of people thought probably would be in the playoff conversation. They had a top defense at the time, the Dallas Cowboys, and they pretty much humiliated the Dallas Cowboys. They did it on national TV, and they put up more than 40 points on the vaunted defense. I will say a caveat to that is that the Dallas Cowboys were coming into that game with one loss, and the one loss was to the Arizona Cardinals, and the Cardinals were not projected to be very good this season, so it kind of put the Dallas Cowboys under a microscope in terms of, are they a good team, are they not a good team? Turns out they're probably not a good team. They have a lot of questions, and I think against the class of the NFC, obviously the 49ers, they pretty much embarrassed them, so I will put the 49ers right now at the top of the NFC. And I followed that up by saying the Philadelphia Eagles are no slouches. They are also undefeated. They just haven't done it as convincingly. But again, when you're undefeated, a win is a win, and nobody can take that away from you. So San Francisco 49ers, and then the Philadelphia Eagles. So after the Philadelphia Eagles, they are, I feel like there's a hodgepodge of teams that are probably equivalent in terms of talent, and probably equivalent in terms of how good they actually are. I put the number 3 team in the NFC as the Detroit Lions. They are currently 4-1. Their one loss was to the Seattle Seahawks, but it was a very close game, and I feel like the Lions have pretty much cemented themselves as being a very, very good team. I don't think it kind of came out of anywhere. I think a lot of people predicted the Lions to be fairly good this season. They are leading their division, and they played the Green Bay Packers, who's the second team in their division, and they beat them pretty convincingly. So I think that the Lions, when it all comes down to it, will probably be the third best team in the NFC currently. And then after that, it's a little bit of a toss-up. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 4-1, but I don't think that's like a true indicator of how good or how bad they are. I don't think that the talent, or I don't think that the teams that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have played have kind of tested them in any way. Again, you can only play who you play on the schedule, and if you win, then a win is a win, so you can't really take that away from them. I just feel like it's hard to evaluate where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers stack up when you consider teams like the Niners and teams like the Philadelphia Eagles and who they've played and how they've kind of gone about getting their wins. I don't know who the next team would be, just because there are a lot of teams in the NFC that are currently 3-2. So you've got I think the Seahawks are 3-2, the Atlanta Falcons are 3-2. You've got a lot of 3-2 teams there that probably will be competing for those last couple of playoff spots if they don't win their division. So the Seahawks are currently in the division with the San Francisco 49ers. And they probably will not be winning that division, so they're going to be competing for that sixth, that wild card playoff spot. So far in this season, it's been a little bit strange, but at the same time, I feel like it was also expected. Just kind of the results, how we've kind of gotten to these results, has been a little bit different. Not what anybody kind of expected going into the season. I think a lot of people thought that a lot of the NFC seedings and a lot of the NFC teams would probably be fighting for, those 4 or 5 playoff spots. I think that for the most part, everyone expected the Eagles to be good. The Eagles are very good. I think people expected the San Francisco 49ers to be good if they solved their quarterback question, and it appears that Brock Purdy has indeed solved their quarterback question. So the San Francisco 49ers are there. So I think those two teams going into the season we're probably going to be considered the best, and as of right now, they are the best teams in the conference. But I think everyone kind of expecting everyone being in the mix. Everyone still kind of is in the mix based on record, but in terms of how good they are, how not good they are, it's been, I think it's kind of gone according to plan. I will say that teams like the Dallas Cowboys, their record is 3-2, but I think that it's not necessarily indicative of how good or how bad they are. We just saw what happened when they did play a very, very good team that they just did not look competitive at all. So I think when you're looking at it in that lens, that teams like the Cowboys, I feel like when Tampa Bay plays another team, so I think Tampa Bay's only loss in the season was to the Philadelphia Eagles, if I'm not mistaken. So, when these teams that are kind of in the middle, currently in the middle, play the teams that everyone knows are good or expects to be good, it seems like they don't quite compare. And I think that kind of shows that there's obviously a very, very big gap. Not just in terms of talent, but just in terms of overall how the team looks and how the team plays. So, there's a lot that goes into winning, obviously, football games. You got coaching, you got scheme, you got, talent, things like that. I would say that so far, currently, the talent on the Philadelphia Eagles and the San Francisco 49ers kind of shows that they are, the best teams. They've also obviously got very, very good coaching too, so there's no question about that. But I am enjoying the season so far, and I feel like, obviously, the San Francisco 49ers fans, the Philadelphia Eagles fans, they're enjoying the season too. I think to be mindful of a date to circle, Week 15, the San Francisco 49ers will be playing the Philadelphia Eagles, and I feel like that'll have very, very big playoff implications. So I definitely will be paying very, very big attention to that. I think the whole world will probably be paying attention to that particular game in that week, and we'll see. Currently, right now, I think I probably have the San Francisco 49ers edging the Philadelphia Eagles if they were to play, but anything can happen. It's a little ways away, so we'll see. All right, so let's talk about the AFC. Two teams have one loss on the season. That's the Miami Dolphins, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I would say that the Kansas City Chiefs haven't really looked as dominant as I think a lot of people expected them to be. With one loss on the season, they've currently done pretty well for themselves. It just hasn't looked as good as I think a lot of people would have thought or would have hoped or would have expected. But nonetheless, they're still in a very, very good position. Obviously, they're probably going to make the playoffs. They are by far the best team in that division currently. So I don't know if that's saying a lot or saying very little. But they are 4-1. If we were kind of see how things shake out, I probably wouldn't put them as the best team in the AFC. But again, their record kind of speaks for itself, so there is that. Then they're the Miami Dolphins. So the Miami Dolphins are also currently 4-1. Their one loss was to the Buffalo Bills, and I think the Miami Dolphins, I would say they're probably on par or equivalent to the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that the Miami Dolphins probably have a better offense than the Kansas City Chiefs, but the Chiefs have a better defense. If the two teams were to play, I feel like it would come down to coaching or kind of come down to just difference in styles or how they game plan for each other. I don't think either team, honestly, is the best team in the AFC currently. If I had to rank them, I think the best team in the AFC currently would be the Buffalo Bills. The Bills did just lose to the Jaguars in London, so the Bills' current record is 3-2. But I'll just kind of like the makeup of the Bills so far. I didn't initially, at the beginning of the season, I didn't predict them to win their division, but with the injury to Aaron Rodgers and just kind of how everything is kind of played out in that division, I think they will win. I think they're at the top of their division right now, even though they don't have as good a record as the Miami Dolphins because they beat the Miami Dolphins. The AFC is just so weird. It's been a very, very weird season for the AFC, even though I think that a lot of people felt like the AFC teams would just kind of beat up on each other on the way to the playoffs, so everyone would just kind of be fighting for those playoff spots. The AFC is, there's a lot of parity, but it's not been like dominant parity. So I think when you're looking at the best AFC teams, they have losses, and they kind of, sometimes they're head scratching losses, but then they have like these dominant wins too, and it's just like, dang, where did that come from? So with AFC, I kind of feel like the Bills are the best team currently, just kind of how they're constructed. And then if I kind of had to rank them, it'd be the Bills. Then I would probably put the Miami Dolphins just under them. And then the Kansas City Chiefs at 3. But I do like the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't think that the Jaguars would probably... I don't know. I don't think the Jaguars would beat the Kansas City Chiefs in a game. But the Jags have looked a lot better in recent weeks. They've gotten 2 straight wins. those 2 wins came in London, so I don't know if that makes a big deal. Maybe they just feel better in London or something. But yeah, they've got 2 straight wins, the Jaguars do, and they've looked a lot better than they did at the beginning of the season. I would not put them on the same tier or same level as the Chiefs, but I do like how they look. I think that, yeah, the Jags are probably like the fourth team in the AFC currently. Man, the AFC is just so crazy right now. I know that the Steelers are currently leading their division. They're 3-2. The Steelers haven't looked very good on offense at all this season, so the fact that they're at the top of their division, despite the offensive struggles, is, I don't want to say it's a miracle, but it's kind of a miracle. I know that I personally picked the Bengals to win that specific division, the AFC North, and the Bengals haven't looked very good at all. The Bengals only have 2 wins on the season. They did just get a win. They looked very, very good doing it. But again, they're at the bottom of their. But again, they're at the bottom of their division currently, and the Steelers are leading it. So who knows what's going on or what will happen there? There's been just a lot of injuries. I think injuries have probably hit the AFC teams the hardest this season. If I'm just kind of thinking about it, just kind of spitballing a little bit. Yeah, injuries have played a much more significant role in kind of how the AFC has played itself out, more so than kind of how the NFC has played out. And I think with the injuries and just kind of how things have kind of been going, has left the door open for a lot of other teams that are maybe a little bit healthier or going to get healthier in the season to maybe make the playoffs. Yeah, in the AFC, it's just kind of difficult to kind of gauge who's, kind of gauge where the hierarchy is, because I think the best teams in the AFC currently don't have the best record in the AFC. So it's just very, very funny, very, very ironic. Again, the NFL season is only a quarter of the way done, so we've got a lot of football left, a lot of time to make up ground, and injuries are probably impossible to predict. But here we are. Okay, so let me know who you guys think are the best teams currently so far, a quarter of the way through the season. Who's the best team in the AFC? Who's the best team in the NFC? Is it the San Francisco 49ers? Or is it the Cincinnati? Definitely not the Cincinnati Bengals. Or is it, the Kansas City Chiefs? I don't know. Put a comment down below. Let me know. Don't forget to like and comment. Don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one.